So, cognitive decline is inevitable as we age, right? So if you're 40, the joke is that you're going to have those senior moments. Well, I don't think that's very funny, and neither is cognitive decline, even if it doesn't lead to Alzheimer's or dementia. I don't believe it's inevitable, and you can protect your brain. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can stay sharp, even in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. I'm going to give you really important secrets to having a really healthy brain as you age, and it is coming right up. So hey there, this is Lindy Ford, registered dietitian, clinical and licensed nutritionist, and nutrition detective. Thank you so much for being here today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so that you know when new videos are going to be coming up. So all of the points that I'm making today about how to prevent cognitive decline and how to boost your brain power are backed with great science. And the two secrets that I'm going to give you at the end are my absolute favorite, so you're going to want to stick around for those. So they're going to be my best ones, the ones that I think are going to give you the best chance for a healthy brain as you age. So these are the 8 secrets. Number 8 is to consume dark purple fruits and vegetables. I know that sounds kind of weird when I say vegetables, and what I'm really talking about is a flavonoid in those really dark fruits and vegetables called Anthocyanins. These decrease oxidative stress, protect the cells from free radical damage, and just think purple blue. Think blueberries. I'm going to link a link below about the blueberry video and how important those are for memory. But a lot of studies show that these darker purple fruits and vegetables protect your memory and neural function. So we have fruits like blackberries and blueberries and even red grapes. But also there are purple vegetables like I have been eating lately. I've been seeing them more and more in the stores. Purple carrots and purple onions. And so those have the anthocyanins in them that are so protective of your brain. And number 7 is to eat probiotic and prebiotic rich foods, and even to supplement with them. And so what do I mean? I'm going to link that again below, what probiotic and prebiotic rich foods are. If you do not have the prebiotics, it's like the food for the probiotics. They go hand in hand, and that is what the new science is teaching. And also taking probiotics. I do believe in that, but all probiotics are not created equal. The ones that I like and I have seen proven over and over again in my practice are the Advanced Naturals probiotics. And the one that I use for some of my more severe GI cases is the Ultimate Flora Max 150 billion. The reason I like this is I've never found a probiotic with 40 strains before. So this is the one that I use a lot. Again, consult a healthcare professional before starting a any kind of supplement regimen. But this is the other one that I really like, is the Ultimate Flora Max Total Woman Care, a 90 billion. They also have a 60 billion if you're a male. But this one just meets more of the needs of women and is a great maintenance probiotic. So why are probiotics and prebiotics so important? Because 90 to 95% of your neurotransmitters are made in the gut. If you have a healthy gut equals a healthy brain. We're finding that more and more. So number 6 is to protect yourself from stress. I know that sounds like a no-brainer, but I don't think people realize how detrimental cortisol, which is an adrenal hormone, is to their brains. Not only to their immunity, it breaks down your bones, it increases your body fat, especially belly fat. And so keeping cortisol low helps with cognitive function, and that's physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So I believe that spiritual health is so important, and that might not be what you believe, but I think for a lot of people, just going to verses like Philippians 4:6-8 and memorizing them, knowing that there is a higher power, a higher being that you know, you're not alone and that you have someone in control of your life really helps. Also, we talk about sleep. I'm going to talk more about physical and helping you deal with stress with adaptogens. We talk about sleep, but I didn't even make that a point because people who, you know, need the sleep can't get the sleep. A lot of times these, you know, nutritionists or people that talk about sleep, they talk about, you know, just go ahead and get that sleep. But it's very elusive for so many people because they're out of balance with their hormones, they're magnesium deficient, they're eating an inflammatory diet, they have tons of stress in their life, so they're not getting that sleep that they need to battle the stress. So we have to deal with those underlying root conditions, and that's what I do in almost every one of these videos. So number 5, and this is again a no-brainer, is that we need regular exercise. Studies show over and over again that it enhances cognitive function. Now, I don't mean that you have to get into a gym and exercise like a fiend. Actually, that could increase cortisol if you exercise over your capacity. And if you haven't exercised in a long time, you need to start slow. And I have made an exercise video to kind of give you some ideas about how to incorporate exercise that it's going to last for a lifetime. So I'm going to link that below. But the reason, another reason that exercise is so important is that it increases a protein called BDNF. That is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And we know that it increases learning and higher thinking. So look at that exercise video. If you are a non-exerciser or if you only do one kind of exercise, you need to do a multitude of different kinds of exercises to get the benefit from them. And number 4 is to consider herbs, and those are your adaptogens. What in the world are adaptogens? I'm going to do a separate video on these. This is going back to the stress issue and the physical part. Remember I said that physically we need to deal with stress, and adaptogens are an amazing way to do that. And 2 of my favorite, well, let me go back and just explain what adaptogens are. The herbs that have been around for thousands of years. We really didn't understand what they were all about until about the 1960s, when the Russian cosmonauts were using them in space to help them withstand the stress of being in space. And we realized that they help to keep that cortisol from the adrenal glands. So they're called, a lot of times they're called adrenal supplements, but they keep the cortisol down, and that helps withstand stress. They're anti-anxiety, anti-cortisol. And the ones that I love so much, number 1 would be ashwagandha. I know you can't say that fast 5 times, but ashwagandha is an amazing adaptogen because in animal studies it shows that it protects the brain from free radical activity. And it's well known in Ayurvedic medicine that it helps with stress and protects and actually boosts memory. There aren't really a lot of human studies out. They're all positive though. They're very small studies, and I know there'll be bigger ones in the future, but right now we have larger animal studies. Now, I like the pure encapsulations of ashwagandha. I know Gaia makes a great one as well. This is the one that I use in my practice, and I'm going to link the link below on how to get supplements for 20% off. I don't sell supplements, but they have opened my dispensary, which is really cool, to my YouTube followers this year. This started just this year, and you're able to order through my dispensary so you don't have to pay retail for really good quality supplements. And the other adaptogen that helps with stress is something called holy basil or tulsi. Holy basil not only lowers blood sugar, decreases depression and anxiety, but it helps with your brain, again, because it lowers cortisol. And my favorite right now, I go back and forth, but right now I'm using Gaia Professional Solutions, and sometimes I'll use pure encapsulations, or sometimes I'll use enzymatic therapy, but this is the one that I really like right now, and it's called Holy Basil by Gaia. So number 3 is to consider supplementation with vitamins and minerals, especially vitamin D and magnesium. Now, I really believe that you should be taking those two together. You should not be taking vitamin D without magnesium. They work in synergy with one another, and we don't get enough of these. We don't get enough of these vitamins and minerals. We really don't. It's almost epidemic. We know that the lower your levels of vitamin D, the higher your risk for Alzheimer's. So consider magnesium-rich foods as well. And I'll link that video below about magnesium. It's wonderful. Okay, number 2. It's coming down to the home stretch here, guys, on how to boost your brain power and how to just make your brain almost ageless. And number 2 is one of my favorites. Actually, number 2 and 1 are kind of tied for first place, and that is to increase the consumption of good fats. You know, your brain is mostly made up of fat. So you are a fat head, but that's actually a compliment. I'm not dissing you on that one. And the kind of fats that are especially important are omega-3 fatty acids. I know I've talked about them before. I'll link a link below to give you more information about this amazing oil. But in food, they're found in all kinds of seafood. Any seafood really has omega-3s, but the ones that give you the most bang for your buck is salmon and herring and mackerel and sardines. Those oily fish. Remember, salmon needs to be like Pacific wild-caught salmon, not Atlantic salmon. And then in the plant world, we have walnuts, we have chia seeds, we have flax seeds, we have avocados, so many good fats. You need more. You need more fat in your diet. It's interesting because a study by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2014, the Nurses Health Study, it was huge. It was like 16,000 people, showed that the women who ate the most, actually it was nuts. It was the nuts as they aged had less cognitive decline. So nuts are another great source, like especially walnuts are a great source of those omega-3s. And then saturated fat, I know it's been vilified. And I'm going to tell you, the newer studies that are coming out are showing that saturated fat actually increases brain health. In 2013, there was a Mayo Clinic study that showed that the diets high in saturated fats decrease the risk of dementia by 36%. That's amazing. So foods that are high in saturated fats are coconut oil, grass-fed butter, grass-fed, any kind of grass-fed meats. And because they're higher in omega-3s, higher in conjugated linoleic acid, and we'll talk more about that in another video, but they are a different animal than a grain-fed animal. So look for grass-fed. Also cholesterol. We have vilified cholesterol. I am just so frustrated. I went to breakfast the other day and actually looked down at the healthy, it's always the healthy breakfast, which is very unhealthy. Don't get the healthy breakfast on any breakfast menu in the United States right now, because it's always about egg whites. And let me tell you, you take those yolks out and you decrease your brain power, because we're talking phosphatidylcholine and serine that are brain boosting, and the brain requires cholesterol so it can transmit from neuron to neuron. And this is why I'm so reluctant and so skeptical about all the statins that are being given to people, where they're lowering their cholesterol. They're not lowering their death rate or their rates of heart attack. They're lowering their cholesterol so much that people are having cognitive decline earlier and early because of statin drugs. So be very, very careful of that. And there are ways to lower cholesterol naturally as with most people. I would consult, again, a healthcare professional on that, but be very careful, because if your cholesterol goes too low, your sexual function goes down as well as your brain function. Drum roll, please. So number one and number 2 are pretty well tied, and that is to decrease your consumption of grains and sugar. And I've lumped those together because they do very similar things in the body. Guys, it's not all about gluten-free, because gluten-free could be very unhealthy depending on what type of gluten-free products you are choosing. I would just say get most of your grains out of your diet. Eat them very sparingly. And when I say grains, I mean all wheat products. I mean even oats. I know that sounds scandalous, but I mean corn and rice and all of those products that are making your blood sugar go up. Insulin is anti-brain. When your blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up. It not only makes you fat, it decreases your brain power. There are study after study that show that. People that eat the least amount of grains have the best cognitive memory as well as health in their later years. And all of it is linked back to insulin. So some of you could get by with eating a little bit more of the healthier grains, which are like sprouted grains, or quinoa, which is actually even a seed. But I would keep them very low for most of us. If we can keep our blood sugars down, if we can keep our A1C, which is a diabetic marker, down really low, that is going to help you to resist cognitive decline as you age. So those are my best tips. Try just starting one of them this week, just one of them, and just work on them as you go along, all 8 of them, and see what happens to your body, your mind, and your spirit, and to help you become a healthier you. Thank you so much for viewing today, and just remember that I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere, and so please join me there, and also please subscribe to this channel. We'd love to have you in our YouTube family, and remember that everyone, every single person out there deserves the freedom to live their best life. Thank you.